Alright people, what's up everyone, and welcome to another reaction to another new Rockstars video. Of course, this is for Loki episode 6. This is the breakdown, all the Easter eggs and all the details you missed, which I'm sure I missed a lot. I was thinking about this episode, a lot of it was set in one room. So, I guess there's they go up to the one room and they spend a good amount of time in that one room. So, is there going to be a lot of details we missed? But immediately, look at this, I guess. Alright, this I'm going to say I don't understand, because they're zooming in on it looks like a mathematical equation or something, maybe something written on somewhere, and it's just like the circle is him holding the apple. I'm like, what? What's that? What does that have to do with that? Maybe it makes sense. Maybe the apple. Maybe it makes sense. Anyway, let's get to a link in the description. Of course, you want to check it out yourself. I'm sure you already have if you're a big Loki fan. Let's go.
Welcome back to New Rockstars.
What's up,
I'm
man?
Ross, and this is a breakdown of Loki episode 6, the season finale for All Time Always, which deprives us of Jet Ski Mobius, but cover it with Jonathan Majors' wickedly talented performance as he who remains a variant of Kang the Conqueror. Look, there's so much.
You better look like that in season 2.
All the details of this episode, so let's break down this
exactly
finale
like
frame
that.
by frame to celebrate me getting the theory right for a change. Also, you can get our Loki-inspired merch at New Rockstars merch.
I feel like everybody was coming up with the theory though that I was going to be Kang. I guess he's talking about what? I kind of like that.
Rockstarsmerch.com. Okay, over the Marvel Studios title, we actually hear the music of "It's Been a Long, Long Time" by Harry James and Helen Forrest, which first played in Captain America: The Winter Soldier, and then more memorably in the final scene of Avengers Endgame. That was the moment Steve Rogers created one of the many variant branches that could have destabilized He Who Remains.
Oh no! Did he get pruned right after that dance?
Which at first play over the character as they appeared in the Marvel title animation, but then build into a cacophony as the timeline orbits around his citadel in a flat circle, time unfolding all at once from his perspective. But because I'm insane, I've broken down pretty much everything hidden in here. Iron Man's repulsor.
Yeah, I heard that. I didn't notice it was the same song. I don't know why I didn't.
Falcon congratulating Ant-Man during Civil War.
Way to go, Tic Tac! Way to go, Tic Tac!
Hope Van Dyne flying to Scott Lang and Ant-Man.
That's how you punch.
Okay.
That's how you punch.
Hulk roaring.
Yeah.
T'Challa's salute in Black Panther.
Wakanda forever.
Spider-Man's web shooter. Scott's first meeting with Falcon and Ant-Man.
You wouldn't have heard of me. No, you wouldn't have heard of me.
Natasha talking to Coulson in
I love
Avengers.
Ant-Man.
Let me put you on hold.
Peter Quill in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Dance off, bro! Dance off, bro! Me and you.
I'm surprised he's not talking about how when the characters showed up, that's when they start talking. And here's Cap.
This all day.
Yeah, I know.
I can do this all day.
Yeah, I know.
I guess that's like so obvious.
I think reverting to Cap in Endgame.
Right. And when he throws in his shield, he get
Younger Hank Pym and Ant-Man.
I'll show you ferocity. And I'll show you ferocity.
Carol Danvers and Captain Marvel.
Higher, further, faster, baby. Higher, further, faster, baby.
That's right.
Loki to Thanos in Infinity War.
We have a Hulk. We have a Hulk.
Korg to Loki in Ragnarok.
here. I love that they put that in there.
Bucky
wanna
in
come?
Winter Soldier.
He says it twice in that movie too.
Peter Quill
So
planning
good.
in Guardians of the Galaxy.
I have
Part of a plan.
Natasha to Loki in Avengers.
I got red in my ledger.
Yep.
I'd like to wipe it out.
Doctor Strange to Dormammu.
Come to bargain. Probably my favorite conclusion of any of the movies. Like when it comes to final fights, so
Hulk
good.
to Loki in Avengers.
Trap his ass.
Thor to that shield big guy in Thor.
You're big.
I fought bigger.
Fought bigger.
Fury's speech in Avengers.
That was an idea. Stark knows this.
Hawkeye's speech to Wanda in Ultron.
You are an Avenger. Yeah, that's
Loki's final
none of this
words
makes
in Infinity
sense.
War.
That's probably my favorite line in that entire movie. And, oh, they breaks that neck. You hear that crunch? It's like, god damn, that was brutal.
Banner's big line in Avengers.
I'm always angry. That's my secret, Cap.
I'm always angry. Classic.
I'm always angry.
Hank Pym
Classic.
and Ant-Man and the Wasp.
You sent my suit to the mail?
And it sounds like the voice of Carly Morgenthau in there from Falcon Winter Soldier. And Caecilius to Doctor Strange.
Nah. Caecilius. I'm only gonna say okay, cool, because it's Mads Mikkelsen. That was a lame ass villain too.
Now this one is actually hard to find, but it is the sound of baby Loki crying in that flashback in Thor of Odin taking him in when he was a frost giant ward.
Oh, nice. Warg.
Now you'll notice there's a bit of a Loki bias among these, since this history is being filtered through the perspective
Warg,
of
isn't that Game of Thrones?
Observing Loki's entire life start to finish in particular.
Oh, Warg is like the people that could talk to
animals.
animals.
Lecture from philosopher Alan Watts about
You talk about the whenever the
Watts argued that time
whatever.
isn't really the past causing the events of the future, but in truth, just an imaginary concept that we perceive from where we are in the present, similar to the non-linear way He Who Remains perceives time. And then we zoom out from the galaxy and we hear Neil Armstrong's first words on the moon. Meanwhile, a mysterious
Damn, we haven't even gotten through the logo or the intro yet.
Galaxy ships, nor one that NASA would use, or one that I think Sword would use, especially this far out in the solar system, but I'm thinking it could be one piloted by Kang enemies, the Fantastic Four. Then we hear the voice of climate activist Greta Thunberg.
Oh, I didn't even hear that.
Our known universe appears to be contained within this blue
A
sphere,
little weird to
which
put
then
that in there,
condenses
but
and explodes. Maybe a depiction of a Big Bang or a future Big Bang, an event that would have created the Infinity Stones. Then we hear the voice
That
of
seemed like a
activist
very
Malala Yousafzai.
intentional one.
And then the voice of Nelson Mandela.
Okay.
As Tchaikovsky's music from Swan Lake plays.
Like, I get the
between
Marvel
light and dark,
characters
like the
talking, and then the
apathetic
time
and
thing.
benevolent variant of Kang versus the darker, more menacing variants who end up conquering in the end. And we realize that everything we have just seen has been set inside of one black hole that neighbors another as the music shifts like a radio dial to Beethoven's Fur Elise.
You turn it up a little bit. This is a really good intro. So.
Which he wrote as an ode to his lover, perhaps reflecting the way Kang's actions may have been Fur Ravona. Everything we're seeing here is really an astronomical geography of the spatial relationship between these universes, which He Who Remains later describes as stacked on top of each other. And then we dive into that second black hole, a separate reality now, as we hear the voice of classic Loki from last episode. And then we briefly see one planet colliding into another. Perhaps this was Lamentus 1. And then we stretch into a Bifrosty 2001 Space Odyssey Stargate as we hear first Liberian President Ellen Johnson
I feel like most of the budget went to for this episode went to this.
Say, motivated by women throughout the world.
Yep.
And then Vision's big line from WandaVision.
What is grief if not love, Pasadena? What is grief if not love?
That's a good
And then
line.
poet Maya Angelou.
I wish that series didn't end the way it did, though. They will not know what they did, or what you did for them. Like, what, you mean enslave them?
The final things we hear during
What?
this montage are Sylvie's voice from last episode.
Open your eyes! Open your eyes!
And then some Morse code beeping. This could be the 1962 Morse message that was beamed out to space.
Oh, okay.
And we see the Citadel at the end of time with this cracked design, which is also reflected in He Who Remains time twister on his wrist and his tableau goo. Looks a lot like kintsugi
Ew,
pottery, representing
gooey.
how He Who Remains likely had to piece it together from broken
Or
shards
it's like
of
branching-
that past multiversal
it looks
war
like branching
to create this
timelines,
kind of
maybe?
neutral ground. And foreshadowing the way that this timeline
Yeah,
will
yeah, yeah.
splinter and crack.
Yeah,
once more
I'm
in the
smart
episode's
too.
end. Flanking this entrance are two giant hourglasses. And staying true to this series' Wizard of Oz parallels, their slow walk down the hall does mirror the nervous walk to meet the wizard, just to reveal that man behind the curtain is a far more comedic figure than we expected. But before we even get there, Miss Minute scares the shit out of us.
That did not get me when I was watching.
With clocks
I don't know, I think I was just
Kind of like a
expecting something to
creepier form
happen.
of what Miss Minutes essentially
I've watched
is,
too
a
many
clock-based
shitty horror
reader.
movies to know.
And note how later she's late to meet Renslayer, therefore she cannot be in two places at once. And she offers them this deal.
He's worked it out so we can reinsert both of y'all back into the timeline in a way that won't disrupt things.
Similar to the offer made in The Matrix to the humans.
Oh, yeah,
This
yeah.
whole episode is kind of playing out like the architect scene in Matrix Reloaded, but a lot more fun to watch. Miss Minutes offers Loki
I like
his
The
chance
Matrix.
to rule.
You can kill
I like
Thanos.
Reloaded. It's dumb as hell, but I love it. Or like it.
And
at least.
Natalie Holt's violin theme
Yeah, the
returns.
music's
The music
really
that played in
good.
the Loki
You
watch
can say we
episode
want
right
about the
back in
show,
episode
but
one,
the music's
not
real
to his
good.
own death, but to the deaths of Frigga and Odin. that is who he's really thinking about in this moment. A chance to see them in Thor again. Now, trailer footage showed some shots of King Loki on the Asgardian throne and back at the top of Stark Tower. Presumably, these were going to be shown here as Loki imagined these possibilities. Now, back in the TVA, Renslayer notices Mobius ring stains on the table, something that he did not remember leaving, which could connect to his total memory reset at the end of this episode, making me wonder if the TVA could have been reset before all this many times, similar to how in The Matrix, that was actually the 6th incarnation of The Matrix. Ravonna gets a mystery file.
He thinks this'll be more useful.
Who?
Yeah, notice how here Renslayer does not seem to know who He Who Remains is, but in a later scene, she suddenly seems more agitated, and she gripes that he's the only one with free will. So what did she learn from this file? Well, later, Mobius reveals that Renslayer actually came from FDR High School in Fremont, Ohio in 2018, where she was apparently the principal based on her having an office, and that Ohio State diploma, listing her name as Rebecca Tormenay. An alias that Renslayer actually uses in the comics when she goes to the year 1903. So I love it. She goes from a name sounding like Terminate to one sounding like Slayer. Now on her desk you'll see more pins.
She's
like the
pretty.
one we saw.
She's pretty
Around
edgy.
this school are posters of FDR, but also Eleanor Roosevelt in her office, and then a bunch more posters of coat drives, and this being homecoming week. And that is interesting because homecoming is, of course, normally in the autumn. But autumn 2018 in the MCU would have been a few months after the snap, which occurred in the spring of that year. So perhaps this coat drive is for displaced kids and families during the blip. And the reason she joined the TVA could have been blip related. Because Ravonna Renslayer is, of course, Kang's love interest in the comics. So maybe here in the show he has something over her. Like she could have been destined to have been dusted. And that could have left behind a child who died without her.
Destined to be dusted.
Keep her sacred
It's a good line.
And that kid's
We're all
safe,
destined
she
to be
continues
dusted.
To work for Kang as his objectified doll.
I have to believe they had a reason.
But here, upon learning this truth, she leaves through this time door.
Where are you gonna go?
In search of free will.
Which could be her searching for a reality with a different Kang
Bye.
variant. who
Please
might
don't
give
be
her
in
a
season
better
2,
deal,
you're
Which
lame.
could lead to the Kang the Conqueror, who
I'm sorry, I think her character's really lame. Oh no, what happened?
But back in the Citadel, Loki and Sylvie reach
Oh,
a chamber with these ceiling cogs.
I keep forgetting I have that sponsor thing. Here you go.
Art that progresses as you
I feel bad. Here you go. What is this?
Oh, this is, like a shame-based narrative. And you get to feel...
What is this? This looks kind of cool, actually. Hold on.
For some,
The Hero's
based
Journal.
on the best of goal-setting psychology.
There you go.
But back in the Citadel, Loki and Sylvie reach a chamber with these ceiling cogs and pendulums, bells, but then on the floor, a depiction of the lunar cycle. All of these are various ways of keeping time. But also, Timekeeper statues. 3 still standing, but a 4th one shattered. In the comics, there was a 4th timekeeper named the Oracle of Siwa, who was exiled to ancient Egypt for informing the Fantastic Four of events to come. Perhaps this statue was shattered during
that's why they were
the
flying.
multiversal war
They were
between
coming.
Kangs, and He Who Remains
Be
could
dead
put them
ass.
together. Or this could be some evidence of a past attempted uprising in one of the past TVA resets, where one of the Timekeepers betrayed He Who Remains to help a variant get to him. And then He Who Remains responded by expelling that one faulty timekeeper and destroying his statue that represented him. But then the man behind the curtain we've been talking about is revealed.
He Who Remains. She's still calling me out. Creepy. Right? What? I like it.
Yes, He Who Remains is actually the name of the elderly TVA caretaker at the Citadel at the end of time who builds the time.
Comparisons to his
comics.
comic
And although
book
he's never
counterpart.
explicitly named Kang in this episode, He Who Remains is
He's a
100%
variant.
confirmed to be a variant of Kang
Yeah.
the Conqueror.
That's
Tom
what when I
Cruise
was saying
cast
that.
as
That's what I was
Kang for
saying.
Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. He's dressed like Immortus, who is another form of Kang from the comics. He said that his variant was from the 31st century when Kang Nathaniel Richards was born. He calls himself a conqueror. And yeah, this pays off all the clues the show has given us. From Renslayer to Eliath to the Tower for Kang Enterprises, the shell company, Renslayer's ID of A23, which was their appearance together in the comics Avengers 23. And notice how here the light casts his
I missed
face
that
in
one.
blue, like his comic book look. Now notice he eats an
I missed
apple,
that
which could
episode
mean
where
a
he
lot
says
of
that.
things. First,
Okay.
it's a symbol of
I wouldn't
Newtonian
know.
knowledge, poink. And later on, in his office is this chalkboard with equations that use integrals. And if I remember from calculus AB in high school, this is calculus, and Sir Isaac Newton is credited as a co-creator of calculus. But the apple also recalls Dr. Strange's use of an apple to first demonstrate time manipulation. in the
That was really
MCU.
cool
But
looking
also
at
reminds us of that episode
effect.
2 word problem from Miss Minutes that asked about the last MCU big bad, Thanos, using
Has
him
2
eating
apples,
as an example. Of course, apples are also associated with the forbidden fruit of the Garden of Eden in the Book of Genesis. used to
Nudity Sylvie,
Adam and
excuse
Eve
me.
by the serpent, and in this episode,
There he is. I
Remains
didn't even notice him.
offers these
I was
Adam
looking at
and
something
Eve
else.
figures chances to be gods.
Damn,
and
you
rehearses
thick.
himself a few times this episode as the devil. Now, to pull off this effect of He Who Remains dodging Sylvie's blows, Hiddleston and DiMartino must have had to shoot their action on a green screen and then had to be layered into that elevator with Majors. But this render was left just rough enough around the edges that leaves the characters and us feeling emotionally detached from this seemingly untouchable immortal.
Yeah,
He Who
his,
Remains
yeah.
reveals this is all scripted.
I wouldn't say
and we
that's a
see if you look
positive.
closely at his book that Sylvie is
I didn't notice
ID'd
that,
as
actually.
variant
And I've been very
L119.
critical
And notice
about
how
the,
he lifts that book. I like how he does a subtle
the
little
green
adjustment
screen
of his
stuff.
time twister to draw attention to it, since this
Not
is
the
the
effects.
key
Effects are
control of
fine,
the
but-
room. And I think he ultimately wants Sylvie to take it and kill him so that he can respawn in a more dangerous form. Like, I think the Council of Kangs know that Loki and Sylvie's union make them true Nexus beings that threaten their empire. And so He Who Remains really feigns this candidness with this phony offer to replace him, while really he is driving a wedge between them the whole time.
Right.
It's all a manipulation. Interesting that your head would go to that. Sylvie!
You think you can trust this guy?
He Who Remains later says,
Without the TVA, everything burns.
Jonathan Majors is having a blast,
Yeah,
hamming
he
up
is.
the eccentricities in this.
I mean, this
jaded,
whole episode was
sing-songy
him.
Tone. He's constantly moving to new physicalities just to punctuate and liven this monologue. Kind of like a guy on the last day of his job. Super dangerous, super fun to watch.
I really need to
Actually
watch
compared
Lovecraft
Heath Ledger's
County.
Joker, who also says.
Or is it county or country? I think it's country.
Burns.
And when he's seated at his desk, he's framed.
I wouldn't
with
say
his
he's quite
head
as
in the middle
good
of
as
this
that, but
spiral
yeah,
window
sure.
in the background. Kind of like the whole universe.
I was thinking also
orbiting
like
around
Dr.
his
Strange's
egomaniacal
the Sanctum
personality. And he
Sanctorum.
explains a variant of himself
The
in the
window.
31st century
Doesn't look like
discovered
it, but I was
parallel
thinking of it.
universes the same time as other variants.
For a while, there was peace. Narcissistic, self-congratulatory peace. I love your shoes. I love your hair. Oh, man. Nice nose. Thanks, man.
Yeah, Majors might be joking about his own recognizable nose, but really he knows he is sexy. We see how the Kang variants invented time doors, reset charges, the computers, pruning sticks the TVA used, but they ended up in this
Stupid-ass
multiversal
sticks.
war. Meaning that Miss Minute's animation was actually telling the truth about that, just that it wasn't the Timekeepers who ended it, but He Who Remains apparently repelling these even worse evil Kangs. The figurine shapeshift
they all
into
do.
prayerful and grateful poses. He says,
I've lived a million lifetimes. I've gone through every scenario. This is the only way.
similar to how Doctor Strange said that he
I
saw
always thought that was-
605 future outcomes, but that only one was a successful way forward.
There was no other way.
I always
Now,
love
of course,
that.
He Remains' offer is very much like a Willy Wonka style offer to them to take over his job. But I love how Majors nods at that with his pose here.
Or you're a liar.
Or Malaya.
Yeah, laying it on
Yeah,
his
Willy
face, just
Wonka,
like the
yeah.
Willy Wonka meme. And
Yeah.
as he says he is older than he looks and that this game is for the young and hungry, the camera pulls back from him, making him look smaller and smaller, more diminished in the window spiral, as if his influence is appearing to fade. But then he snaps at Sylvie.
Grow up! Grow up, Sylvie! Murderer! Hypocrite!
Similar to how Caecilius called out the Ancient One.
Hypocrite!
Because among sorcerers, no one really has the moral high ground. But then everything shifts in this scene.
But now, you, have a chance to do them for a good reason.
Yeah, that's the moment where he's like, I don't know what this shit's gonna happen now.
We just crossed the threshold.
Yeah, that thunder was the sound of the sacred timeline breaking up. And fitting to use thunder for that, because as it branches, it does look a lot like heat lightning, evoking the moment the Ancient One slowed down time in the moment of her death. A similar moment where she, just like He Who Remains here, could not.
It's actually a
foresee
really
on
good
that
scene in
point.
that
So
movie,
what
too.
caused this?
That movie
Was
doesn't get
perhaps
enough
with
credit, I
Kang?
think. I
Or
really like
He Who
Doctor
Remains
Strange.
justifying free will subversion.
It starts off a little rocky, I will
decided
admit.
She was just gonna kill
Not
him
bad,
no matter
but
what
it gets
Loki
way
told her.
better.
Either way, that break makes it so that when Loki returns to the TVA, it has already warped and reset so that a different Kang is now ruling over this one. He Who Remains removes his time twister and slides it over, but notice how his gesture, again sliding his hand across the table, and the framing makes it look like it is still on his hand, which can conclude this offer is really a bait and switch because both alternatives lead to his victory. Loki and Sylvie duel, and upon their early clash, he remains jumps in his seat in the corner in excitement, which is similar to how Palpatine loved watching Luke and Vader fight. Before that, Anakin and Dooku fight, because either way, the mastermind has already won. It's so tragic to see these two fight, largely in the way it parallels what Loki told Sylvie as an answer to what love is back in episode 3.
Love is a dagger. It's a weapon to be wielded far away or up close. You can see yourself in it. It's beautiful until it makes you bleed. But ultimately, when you reach for it,
It isn't real.
Yeah, Loki wields his love for Sylvie up close and can see himself in her, but she makes him bleed. And when he reaches for it,
why
it
there's
isn't real.
love.
Instead, classic Loki's wisdom really reigns supreme.
The blades are worthless in the face of a Loki sorcery.
But despite all this, Loki does make a key concession.
all I know is I don't want to hurt you. I don't want a throne. I just want you to be okay.
Signaling that he learned the core lesson that Sylvie laid out for him earlier this season.
This isn't about you.
But as he tumbles back through the time,
I forgot the show was called
the window lights on
the
floor
TVA.
open in
That was called
opposing
Loki
directions,
last
which is
time I
odd
checked.
because presumably they're coming from the same exterior light source. The way these lights paralleled Loki and Mobius's opposition in episode 4, they now mirror the opposition between Loki and Sylvie. But on a more literal level, it also shows how this new TVA that Loki has found himself in does not revolve according to the same gravity as the old one did. So Sylvie stabs He Who Remains, and he winks and says,
See you soon.
yeah, back in episode 4, after Sylvie beheaded the Timekeeper android and the other two shut down, if you listen closely, you could hear a voice whisper, "See you soon."
You soon.
Yes, the voice of Kang, He Who Remains.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Shot back
That's
then,
good.
And now his wink confirming it to her that she truly has had no free will in this battle. The sacred timeline splits into branches of branches of branches, and the chronomonitor screen confirms that many of these branches overlap with each other. And looking back at the cosmic version of it, some regions grow a bright red.
One of them
which
is
could be the
Spider-Man No Way
incursion that
Home
we
too.
saw in WandaVision's
Yeah, that
post-credit
too.
scene,
Yeah.
and been the cause of Wanda suddenly hearing her children calling to her from another reality.
That too.
So yes, we are looking at the multiverse of madness that Doctor Strange 2 will take place in.
I can't wait for that. Sam Raimi's directing it? Yo, that's the dream.
For how Alfred Molina, Doc Ock, and Jamie Foxx Electro will appear in Spider-Man No Way Home. We'll get the trailer for that very soon.
I hope so too. I can't fucking wait. If they show Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man at the end of that trailer, I'm gonna fucking lose my shit. I hope it's true. I really do.
As Eugene Cordero, meaning Casey must have either got promoted or in this alternate TVA, instead of being a desk clerk, he gets to be a hunter. And then in the archives, he finds Mobius
cool.
B-15, who
Funny
had
guy
no
from the
idea
first
who
episode.
he is, which is really odd because even before he was a detained variant, Loki was the freaking god of mischief with an infamous reputation. So this must have been a hard memory wipe reset. The Timekeepers statues have been replaced with
in this world, he could have really erased the memory of. I mean, erased all info about some things.
You of that
I guess.
final twist in Tim Burton's 2001 Planet of the Apes.
Why?
Memorial, but just by
Bring
looking
that
at
up.
this, while the TVA may change
God
on a
damn
dime,
it.
its true creator is now, thanks to
I
Sylvie
hate that
for
fucking
all
movie.
time,
That movie
always.
sucks my
And the credits
balls.
confirm that Loki will return for a second season, and with Kang's confirmed appearance in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania in February 2023.
Oh shit! I didn't know it was that far away. I thought it was next year.
2022, or maybe in the first weeks of 2023 to lead into that film. Ant-Man and the Wasp left a quantum realm city in the background that I've been theorizing could be Kang's kingdom of Chronopolis. And Kang in Quantumania could live beyond that film to be the villain of a future Fantastic Four film or an Avengers Secret Wars conflict. But whenever we see Kang next with an actor as talented and versatile as Jonathan Majors, it would not surprise me if he brings a whole new characterization to his Conqueror.
That's exactly what's gonna happen.
We still have much to learn
He's
about
gonna be
him,
fucking.
and that is what makes
He's gonna
him
be
so
evil as
dangerous
fuck.
and so delightful. I want to thank you all so much for joining me on these breakdowns of Loki.
That was fun. I haven't watched the first. I only watched the last two in this one, but they were really good. I think, right? I watched the fourth one,
I'll
right?
be back with plenty more Marvel theories and future breakdowns. So
Yeah, I'll watch them from now on.
Follow me on Instagram.
I wonder if they're gonna do What If. I'm sure they will. There's gonna be a lot of secrets in there for sure. Ow! I hit the mic. Are you okay? All right. Oh yeah, I didn't watch the Black Widow one, did I? Or did I? Wait. Oh yeah, I did. I watched it. So like, did I watch it? Yeah, I did. I'm pretty sure I did. Yeah, I remember. I want to watch the Rick and Morty ones too, because those Rick and Morty has tons of shit you'll miss. That show goes by fucking so fast. But yeah, okay. So Loki episode 6 breakdown, Easter eggs, details from new Rockstars, really good, fun video series to watch for sure. And for now on, I think I'll watch all of the ones from them because they're pretty good. But yeah, link in the description if you want to check it out yourself. Some things, of course, I didn't know. So I'm not like the biggest comic book fan, but even the things that aren't comic book related, I'm like, oh yeah, I didn't hear that one thing in the beginning. You know, hey, I didn't see that in the background. Wow, look at that. Wobble weewa. Well, look at that. That's crazy. Wow. Anyway, and that's it. Hope you enjoyed. Thank you. Until next time, I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.